friends, ETJ Writes here. Today I'm going to be reacting to writing memes. I've gotten all of these off of Tumblr and I will be putting them right here as we go along. So enjoy. Our first writing meme, let's see. Good evening and welcome to another packed whip or work in progress of misery and abject desperation. Well, I think that's pretty funny because although right now I'm trying to write a romance, it's turning out pretty angsty, and I think a lot of you can probably relate to that. You try to make things fluffy and cute, and it turns into a disaster fest. Our next one is something you randomly referenced earlier in the story for absolutely no reason, but which ended up being super important later on. Is this foreshadowing? Totally do this all the time. Being a pantser, this is something that it's inevitable because I don't really plot that much ahead of time, and so I'll write stuff and then come back and be like, oh, that was really interesting. Oh, this is a good one. My characters, one last horrifying plot twist. Because it can't be too easy for them, can it? This is classic. It hurt itself in its desire for angst. This is a reference, of course, to Pokemon, where it says it hurt itself in its confusion. As a writer, you want to get your characters to a place where they have been really broken down so you can build them back up again, and also so you can really affect your potential readers. Except that you forget that you are also a potential reader. And so when you're creating that scene, ooh, boy, do you feel it in your heart. Here's one that I created based off a meme format I saw going around. My OCs, looming angst. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. Here's one that I enjoy. That feeling when the backstory for your characters and overall makeup of your fantasy world start overlapping and just in general enhances the entire writing experience. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. This one is more of a reading meme. There's nothing quite like reading a book and being like, aha, I see what you did there, and feeling immensely clever when it's just plot. So this one really makes me laugh. Author, I've connected the two dots. Congrats on the basic reading comprehension. I've connected them. And of course, as authors, we want our stories to be full of mystery and layers. I'm really enjoying watching WandaVision right now, and there's just so much to unpack. But sometimes there's things that are just so basic that definitely as a reader, I've gone through and been like, how did I not see that before? This is a fun one. Throwing out wild plot points at the start of your story. So you're just like, and you get a plot point, and you get a plot point, and you get a plot point. And then you realize you have to make them all somehow connect at the end. Oof. Me pantsing my way through this first draft, having already wildly veered away from my admittedly very loose outline. I have no idea what I'm doing. I created this meme as well because it's how I'm feeling. I'm a pantser. I make stuff up as I go along, and sometimes you feel like you're just driving down a foggy road. You can't hardly see in front of the windshield, but you're gonna end up somewhere. Oh, this is a good one. I, the author, stop paranoidly emailing yourself the draft every few updates, or draw 25. Of course, this is a funny one because it's sad. And what I mean by that is all of us writers have known at one point or another the pain of losing work. Actually, way back when, a little story time, I used to play Pokemon all the time, but I never had good batteries to play it on. So the batteries would always die after a short amount of time, and I mixed batteries. You're not supposed to do that, but I did it, and if one battery wasn't working, you'd switch it out for another one, which meant that the game would die on you pretty frequently. So you had to save like after everything. You get in a battle, you save. You walk a few pixels down the road, you save. I got in the habit of saving a lot, and it's really saved me, especially through college, because I definitely had some computers that would shut down on me. So I haven't necessarily lost writing because of that, but there is one file that haunts me that I accidentally locked, and I cannot remember the password. I don't even know if it's a good piece of writing, but it just sits there in my computer and it taunts me because there might be a really good story in there. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't access it. Next time, I'm emailing myself everything. Save the best for last. Someone, hey, isn't your main character just you? And supporting character is just the side of you, yourself, you try to hide? And I said no. You know, like liar. Now, this is funny because us writers, when we first start writing, a lot of times we do Mary Sue's or Gary Stu's, where we just basically put ourselves into the world and give ourselves superpowers and basically have the coolest, best adventure ever, which is fine when you're just starting. But then you get a little bit more mature, you realize that is definitely not realistic. Stories generally don't happen where people just have everything handed to them. It's really hard to relate to those types of stories because that's just generally not people's experience. It can happen, some people are extremely privileged, but it's extremely rare. So then what happens is writers try to write characters that are nothing like them in the slightest. And that's fine too. But I've discovered that the next step of maturing as a writer is you actually do a self-insert character, but you do it in a way where it's not just literally you plopped in the story, but it's this aspect of you or this aspect of you. You're working out this thing from your past or projecting some kind of dream or vision that you would like to have. Because, you know, I can't be a knight that goes off killing dragons because dragons don't live in this time and age anymore. But I can write a character who does, and it's an adventure that I can't personally have, but I can vicariously live through my characters. Well, that has been me, ETJ Writes, reacting to writing memes. If you like this, maybe I'll come back at you with a part 2 sometime. But until then, happy writing!